The Middle East is nearer than you think it is. Good evening. This is Artists of the Kootenays. My name is Perry Long, and with me tonight, the lovely lady who you've just been watching dancing in front of you, Jane Duryea. Hi.
Hi, Perry.
Yeah. They call what you do belly dancing. I suspect that's not really the true name of what you do. What is it? What is it? What is belly dancing? Where did it get the name belly dancing?
I think it was a term coined at the World's Fair in the late 1800s. It's a French term, danse de ventre, if that's pronounced correctly. And it means belly dance, dance of the belly. But it is definitely more than a dance of the belly, as you can see.
Yeah, there's considerable movement in the pelvic area, but the whole body seems to be, it strikes me as it's a total body endeavor.
It is, yeah. It is. It involves isolations, learning how to isolate each part of your body separately and then putting it all together into a structured form.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
About 5 years.
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you study with somebody, or was it a...
Yes, I did. I started taking some lessons one time when I was in Oregon, and I continue to study. Even now, I go to different teachers in different places, and I also teach myself here in the Kootenays.
Mm-hmm. What are the origins of this dance? These dances? You see, I'm totally naive, so assume that I know nothing, which I do.
Okay.
Does it come from many different sources, or did it originate in one particular cultural context, or where does belly dancing originate?
Well, it seems like everybody in the Middle East wants to claim it as their own, and it began here. There are lots of myths, and some people say it was the nomadic tribes, and each country says it started here. I think it just spread throughout that whole area and slightly changes in each country.
So there are Variations upon variations upon variations.
Yes.
Are there particular origins to the particular dance you were doing a moment ago? Or?
The dance I was doing a moment ago is called a cabaret dance, done mostly in like nightclubs. I believe in the Middle East they do more folk dancing and street dancing and more dancing together rather than as a solo performance.
It's not done as a performance for an audience to sit and watch per se. It's part of a celebration, or?
Yeah, I think in those countries that dancing has a slightly different form in that everybody dances, young and old and skinny and fat, and doesn't make any difference. They start dancing as soon as they can walk.
Right.
So I noticed that big difference, you know, between that and, for instance, in this country where there's very little dancing that's done by younger people.
Together as a group, it's a very isolated thing. That sort of leads me to my next question. In a way, you've sort of answered it. I'm a victim of early Hollywood movies, and then the great white foreigners would arrive, and the pasha would sit them down on the big fluffy pillows, and out would come the lovely ladies doing their thing, and everyone would sit and smile and eat their morsels. Is that any kind of a true representation?
I don't think so.
No.
I think that that's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood. Well, you see why Hollywood could be attracted to it. I mean, just.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to run the risk of being chauvinistic. To me, this is an incredibly erotic dance. When I'm watching the movements, you know, I look at the feet, but the overall movement, I'm aware of an incredible feminine energy. Marvelous, beautiful, and I would say it's erotic, sensual, even sexual. Am I off base there, or am I hung up in...
I guess it's all in your perspective.
Ha-ha.
I see it more as exotic rather than erotic, and more sensual rather than sexual.
Okay. What happens? I know when I go dancing, something happens. I get to a certain point and I'm just gone. I'm not there anymore. I'm just moving. What happens for you as a performer when you're into these dances? Does it take you somewhere? Do you go somewhere with it, or can you describe the state? Are there any words that fit?
I think it has to do with energy, you know. It's like movement in your body and creating an incredible energy and somehow freeing you. It's pretty hard to describe in words. It's much more of a feeling. It feels real good.
Yeah, I saw you smiling a lot.
Yeah.
And the smile was, hey,
Yeah.
I'm free for a moment, just out of everything else.
It feels real good to move your body and have that activity happening. And this is why I think that the ladies in my classes enjoy it so much. It's like a way of exercising that's really fun and it feels good.
It's a way of exercising and it feels good? Okay, tell me about some of the classes.
Okay, I just love my classes. They're just wonderful. I have been teaching for, I guess about 3 years here in the Kootenays, and I have lots of students, mostly Canadians. I take a little survey in my class to find out where the ladies are from and what their background is, and I find that about 95% are Canadian born and raised, and out of that, about 90% have never had any movement training in their life. And I asked them, well, what did you do in your physical education classes? And it was much more sports and competition rather than learning how to control your body. And this is where my emphasis is. I believe in learning how to control your body and becoming aware of your body. I think it's very important for all of us.
That's kind of a total expressive entity rather than something that's used for a specific purpose, i.e. to run 100 yards or jump over a pole or roll over or something like that. Expression. Are the movements prescribed? How much room is there for individual expression within the dances that you do? Or are the movements prescribed? Certain foot movements, certain body movements, certain movements of the hands. How much freedom do you have within that to create yourself?
There's a structure to belly dance, but there's also lots of freedom in it. There's like certain steps, certain movements, and then the way that you put them together is your style. The thing that when you dance expresses yourself.
Well, you certainly do.
Thank you.
Would you introduce us
Oh, I'd love
to your musicians, please? And maybe we could explore some thoughts about their instruments and their backgrounds. And
Fine. This is the Brothers of the Ballady, Michael and Joseph. Welcome to the Kootenays.
Indeed. I have an immediate question. Early on, in the first number you were doing, I heard some interesting lyrics, and I saw some rather interesting expressions on your face, and I was wondering, what are those lyrics saying?
Well, the first song we did was called Aya Malben. It's based on Syrian candy, which is called Malben. And we are singing to the dancer, "You are as sweet as candy, Aya Malben."
Yes. Right. This is common when this type of dance is done in its original state, that
That's correct.
the musicians react and compliment the dancer, and there's a lot of interaction between the two.
They should.
They should.
It depends on the musicians and the country and what the relationship is to begin with.
You call yourselves the Brothers of the Ballady. Could you explain that?
Baladi.
Ballady. I did it. I was prompted, but I blew it. Go ahead.
Baladi is an Arabic word. It means country or folk. Kind of a nice representation, because we do the Arabic music and the Middle Eastern music we do some very classical pieces, and then we do lots of folk and country music too. So it's a nice combination.
Have you worked together, the three of you, before, or is this the first time? Or
Yeah, we were here. When was that?
Last November.
We're on the road so much I forget. Yeah, we've been together before.
You know, I understand the three of you have some upcoming performances here in the West Kootenays.
Yeah.
By the time this is aired, it will be Thursday night, so maybe you could tell us what you will have done by then and what you're going to be doing after tonight.
We will have done.
Oh, okay. We will have performed, my students and myself, and another belly dance teacher from Castlegar, Melinda, and her students. We're putting on a after-the-class program, and we'll be performing in Castlegar, Creston, Caslow, Valakin, and I guess by the time this is aired, the 2 evenings left will be Creston and here in Nelson.
Okay, date and time and place in Creston.
Will be 7 o'clock at Dionysus Restaurant in Creston.
And in Nelson, it will be on what day?
Saturday, the 27th.
And it's down at the end of Baker Street at a certain nightclub establishment, correct?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. What are you going to be doing there in Kips? That's interesting. Belly dancing in Kips with Middle East music.
It is quite different, but it's the same format. It's like presenting these ladies who have been studying dancing and give them a chance to perform to live music, which never happens here in the Kootenays. You know, it's really a thrill for all of us.
Yeah, I've noticed a tremendous difference between the feel of last time I was talking to someone who was doing this and just the raw energy of these two fellows doing their thing right here and interacting with you was just fantastic.
The workshop, there'll be a Middle Eastern music and drum workshop also on Saturday, held at the Legion Hall in Nelson. And I'd like to invite everybody to come to that. And perhaps, Michael, you could talk a little bit about that workshop and what everyone will be learning.
Right, the workshop, some of the things we really stress is you don't have to be a musician, you don't have to be professional, you don't have to be anything especially to take our workshop. We travel all over the States and do workshops, and Joseph does all the melodic instruments, strings and reeds and everything that you've got, plus a few things more. And then I do all the percussion. And we're geared towards the dancer, number one, or, one thing is the dancer. Second thing are say, their husbands or men who want to play music for them. And they don't have to have ouds or Middle Eastern instruments. Joseph and I started off with dulcimers and just guitars, and it doesn't matter what instrument you play, even if you don't play anything, just bring it along. We can show you how to maybe tune to a Middle Eastern tuning, use the instrument to the best way, that can be worked for the dancer. And it's not a far out exotic form of music that you won't learn. So we really stress, anyone coming in and joining in. Then we do all the rhythms, teach the rhythms, and it's really important, especially for dancers, to know the rhythms, because there are certain rhythms that need to be looked at a little bit more closely, because they right intertwine with the dance. So we have a good time with the workshops, and we hope we see lots of people out. We had a real nice one last time we were around the area, and lots of fun.
Okay, once more, that's where and when and what time?
It's Saturday, June 27th, from 12 to 4 at the Legion Hall here in Nelson.
Here in Nelson. Okay, great. Instruments. I was talking to you earlier about some of those amazing instruments you have back. The one big one with the horn. Could you explain that one? Just give us a brief example of the sound that comes out of it.
Okay. This is called an argul, and it's from, this particular version is from Egypt. And this top part you can buy in a Middle Eastern import store. It comes like that. It's also called an argul, but this is what the sound you're looking for, is the large drone, round drone sound, a deeper sound. And it has a melody channel on one side and a drone on the other, and it sounds something like this.
Explaining earlier that it's similar to a bagpipe, with the one exception that the bags are contained within your own body.
Right. You have to use your lungs to control the air instead of controlling the bag with your arm. There are Middle Eastern bagpipes also, other than the normal Celtic or Highland bagpipes that most people know about. A similar version of this is something called a mijwiz, which is two melody channers instead of having the drone on one side. This one is from Syria, and they play usually, if it's in tune, the exact melody.
That's wonderful. You have some at the back there made of some very exotic material. Very difficult to make. Very difficult to get the material to make them. Maybe you could show us one of those.
Well, he's being facetious. Actually, this is called a nai or a nay, depending on what country in the Middle East you're talking about. This particular one is made out of PVC pipe, which is polyvinyl chloride plastic plumbing pipe. And you can buy it, and at the workshop, if you show up, I can show you how to make these and play them.
Playing music through your plumbing. Fantastic.
This next one is from a lot of different countries. It's called a mizmar, a zurna, zurla, depending on the country again. It is a double reed, like an oboe, and you play it by putting the reed all the way inside your mouth and blowing. That pretty much takes care of the wind instruments that I have.
Could you give us a quick rundown on the drums? Just
Okay, real quick. These are drums.
Yes, there is this one and that one, and this one over here.
I'm always surrounded by lots of drums. Depending on what country they come from, they're clay drums. They're made out of clay, ceramic, with goatskin heads on them. Darabukas or doumbeks, and they're each. I've got some from all kinds of countries: Syria and Egypt and Saudi Arabia and onward. This is a tambourine called orek, and you play it on the side. It's a very intricate part of a Arabic orchestra. There's one person. Usually in an orchestra, there's maybe 5 people in an orchestra, and there's one person specifically to play a tambourine. This is a small, it's called a def. It's from Egypt. A little bit larger back here. We've got a big monster. This is made in Syria. It's called a tar. Big guy. And in the front, I'm not going to climb out, but this big guy, it's called a tabla beladi or a daravul. It's a big country drum, and they use it in a lot of the North African or the Moroccan tribal music, more of the folker music, and you play and it's real loud, and we do that's what we do a majority of our folk music with. So.
Boom. Jane,
Yes.
Courses. You teach courses regularly? You got some coming up locally, or?
Yes, I do in the fall. I'm going to start a pretty intensive teaching schedule that ranges from Nelson through Caslow and down the other side of the lake to Creston. And I'll be starting in October. And probably if you contact either the Selkirk College or the recreation commissions in those communities, there'll be classes available at different times and places.
Great. And what kind of people show up for these classes? A wide range of people?
A wide range.
Yeah.
Everybody, young and old and skinny and fat, and it's wonderful. And the women just love it. I did have one man in one class, and I hope to have more men eventually.
If I was, I watched this program tonight and I say, that does look interesting. I would like to loosen my body up like that. And I decide, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to enroll in that course. Well, what would happen? What would I expect? What kinds of things might we start doing when I arrived, So I'm a little apprehensive, right?
We would start out learning how to isolate and control our bodies, which is something not very many of us can do.
So obviously, besides being a very expressive thing, it's just going to do wonderful things to get the whole thing feeling loose.
Really?
Yeah.
And from it comes a natural outcome is grace and poise and self-confidence. So all you have to do is put in the energy and you get it back tenfold.
Tenfold. That's not a bad return.
No.
What was that word again? The word applying to the lady?
I am Alban.
I am Alban Majun.
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 her name.
This is her dancing name, Majun.
Majun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see some more of your dancing. And don't forget the workshop and the performances coming up locally. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Salam.
Hello, my name is Jane Duryea, and I'm a belly dance teacher and performer from the Nelson area.
And I'm Melinda Morgan, and I'm also a belly dance teacher and performer for the Castlegar area.
We're here today to tell you about some very exciting upcoming events and to give you a little history and background and some demonstrations in belly dance.
The origins of the belly dance are not known exactly, but many ethnomusicologists feel that it originated among the North African Berbers. Although many of the Middle Eastern countries like to claim it as their own, no one is exactly sure where it did come from. It probably arose out of ancient rituals where the movements were used to emulate childbirth. Later it graduated to the Awalam, which were a group of people who attended weddings and helped to assist newlywed couples in how to encounter each other on their wedding night. Later through the years, it evolved into village dancing, where girls danced for coins, which were then sewn onto their costumes, and these were collected for their dowries, which, as they became more and more abundant, of course, became more desirable. Today, there's a direct relationship to that custom, where today there is tipping of the dancers performing in cabarets and different fairs and functions in appreciation for their fine work. The name belly dance evolved from an Arabic term called beledi, which means folk or village dancing. Also, a French term, danse du ventre, means dance of the stomach. Many people are surprised to find that belly dancing does entail much more than merely dancing with the stomach area. There are various ethnic contributors to belly dancing. The Turks, for instance, introduced the use of zils, or finger cymbals, which are these brass musical instruments played with the fingers. The floorwork portion of the dance was introduced in the tribes of the Bedouins, where the tents were so low to the ground, people could not carry on normal everyday living except in a prone or kneeling position, and thus floorwork evolved. Belly dance was first brought to the West by Little Egypt, who first performed at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. And unfortunately for us today, we are still burdened with that negative aspect of belly dancing that she brought to it. There was much adverse publicity and sensationalism created from her performances, and we're suffering with that fact that still stigmatizes belly dancing today. Fortunately now, due to the large popularity of belly dancing in the West, it's finally being received as the beautiful art form that it truly is.
Belly dancing has really been popular in the United States for the last 15 or 20 years,
Right.
and finally now it's coming up here to Canada, and it's real nice to have it here. I've been teaching for the last few years around the area, and I do these little surveys in my classes, and I found them very interesting because I found almost 90% of Canadian-born and educated women have had no movement training at all in their education.
That's incredible.
So it feels real good to be teaching these women and helping them to get to know their bodies and become aware of themselves, and also to have a wonderful time exercising. It's sure a fun way to do it.
Most definitely. Also, I found that people who are a bit shy about their age or their body shapes feel that they can participate in this dance and not be burdened by that thought that they're too old or they're not the most perfect figure in the world. They can fit right in with belly dancing and be perfectly acceptable and beautiful as well.
Right, that's the difference, I think, between, for instance, ballet, where at 30 years of age you're finished as a ballerina. But with belly dancing, you know, it's something that goes on, and the older you get, the more of your age and your beauty and wisdom and experience you can bring to the dance to express with.
It's really a full life experience that you can bring to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should show little demonstrations of belly dance movements and break them down and sort of show what a student has to initially learn to finally incorporate it into a moving dance.
Okay.
Isolations are used in belly dancing, so we will begin with isolating the head. There's the head slide, which is of course moving the head side to side, and also a circle with the head. Moving down to the shoulders, there's the shoulder roll, and alternating shoulders, all done in isolations. and the shoulder shimmy, which uses much control. Then, of course, the rib cage area. There's the rib slide, and that can be molded into the circle, which can be modified into a half moon. And then, of course, the famed belly area, which is the part of the dance that this part of the body that this dance is named after. This is the famed belly roll. Many people don't understand that there are two parts of the belly used, the diaphragm and the abdomen, which are used interchangeably to make this roll. This uses a lot of muscular control. Then moving into the arms, this is called snake arms, a very beautiful, flowing, graceful movement. And down into the hip area, there are a variety of hip movements that can be executed. One molds into the other in a very flowing, smooth motion. Each of these isolations do have names and are separate exercises that must be learned first before they are incorporated into a moving dance. Although many times each of these can be done separately in the course of the dance without moving. This particular one is called Maya. And into the exciting, effervescent hip shimmies. Whee! Those are some isolations that any student must learn first. Maybe we should discuss the upcoming performances that we have an opportunity to present to these areas.
Oh, this is really exciting and really an opportunity to hear live Middle Eastern music. Most of the time when I perform, I have to rely on taped music.
Likewise.
But when the live music is there, it's really exciting. And the first event that will be happening will be right here in Castlegar, sponsored by the Castlegar Arts Council, June 19th at 7 o'clock here at the Sports Complex is our first event. There will, I will be dancing, Melinda will be dancing, and our students will also have a chance to perform, which should be really
a real exciting time.
Yeah. The following night we will be in Creston, and Sunday the 21st, which is Father's Day and the solstice, we'll be performing at the Langham Theater in Caslow. On Wednesday we'll be at the Valican Hole in Valican. And
we might mention that that's a chance for everyone just to come, let loose, dance to the live music, a perfect opportunity without feeling you're on stage, under scrutiny, under the lights, and just to have a good time. And everyone can dance to this music.
Right. Friday night we go back to Creston for another performance, and Saturday night we will be in Nelson. Saturday during the day we're going to be sponsoring a Middle Eastern music and drum workshop from 12 to 4 at the Legion Hall.
In Nelson also.
Right, in Nelson.
Right. So that would be an excellent opportunity for everyone to attend that, and that can not only be used just to learn about the Middle Eastern rhythms, but it can be applied directly to the dancing through use of your finger cymbals and just the knowledge of the music. So maybe I should give a performance.
Well, how about the format? Talk a little bit about the format.
Yeah,
first.
maybe we should talk about that. Go ahead.
Well, there are basically 5 parts to the dance. The first part is the entrance, which for me is the gathering together of the people and of the energy, and the calling out of life and birth.
The next part is the veil dance, where the dancer removes her veil, dances with it, and discards it eventually at the end.
Right. I view this unveiling as the unveiling of the mother goddess or the priestess who represents all women.
Next, the music slows to a very quiet, intense mood, and that is where the portion of floor work is performed. And the dancer utilizes the floor down in prone or kneeling position to execute her movements there.
Right. This represents the birth and the give and take and the pain and joy of life. And it's also the rebirth of the freedom of expression.
Next comes the exciting drum solo, and that is where the hip shimmies are used and a lot of exciting, lively movements, and the finale comes, and that is where the dancer eventually exits.
Right. This is the celebration of all humanity. Maybe, Melinda, now you will show us a little mini solo or something that we can all enjoy.
I'd be glad to.
Fine.